I'm going to sketch out the drawing that you can see here. We're going to look at the following functions within the sketching app. So we'll sketch lines, we'll rotate angles, we'll rotate a point pilot, and I'll explain what a point pilot is. Point creation, I'll also show a DXF that I've loaded. We'll look at the construction of a bay window, creating an arc, offsetting a line, and then in the end we'll look at tie distance. Going to sketch. And this is our sketching application. This is the point pilot that I was talking about earlier. It's a pretty handy tool that's in Build and Build Plus and Site Plus. So if you've got the Site version, you won't have the point pilot. You'll have to input your angles and distances along the side here. So the point pilot, basically you can select 45, 90, and so on along the wheel. Makes it a lot easier just to do some quick selections. And just easier to construct this way. Also, you've got here so the north arrow, so we can enter direction in the side here, or the distance, or the height of a point. Over here, we can see how many times you want to multiply it. So if I say I want to do this 5 times, enter 5, and it'll give me a chain of 5 strings north, so up to 0, and 2 meters in distance and length. We'll stick with 1 now. Over here we can select if we want to create a line from point to point. So if I deselect this, you can see there's a little blue arrow there now. So I'm just going to create 2 points that way, so it won't be a connected line between the 2 points. So in our functions, we've got points and lines, arcs, offsets, point creation, patterns, and trace. We'll look at all of these today except for trace. So I may as well start now. You can see the sketch up the top here. So the way I'm going to start is I'm going to create a point at 0, 0, which is default anyway here. So this will be my reference line or construction line. So I'll start at 0 and create a line 5 meters long. And always remember to accept with this green tick, or else it won't get constructed. Now we've got our reference line. So I want to create a point here. I go into point creation. Up here, you can say select the points for intersection. So I want to choose point 1 and point 2. I've got the distances here. So I've got 3.5 meters. And I've got 2 meters. And you can see that it intersects. So it's giving me 2 intersection points. Right now, the selected one is on the left, which is obviously not the point that we want. So all you need to do is toggle over to the point on the right-hand side. At the moment, it's going to create 2 lines as well, and that's because I have this selected. I don't want lines, so I deselect it and accept. Now we've got our corner point of our house. It goes back into points and lines. My point pilot now is putting me onto point 2. Obviously, that's not the point I want to start from. So I can go over here into start point and select point 3. So now I'm at the right spot. We can see up here as well that it's telling me that this whole building is rotated 6 gone to the left. So we're also, we know, even though the sketch might not show this quite so well, that this line is parallel to our reference line. So at the moment, that's how we're lying. It's parallel to our reference line. I want to rotate 6 gone to the left. So up here in my direction, it's set to gone anyway. You can change your units from gone to degrees, whatever you prefer to work with. So I'll enter 6 gone, and I can press minus because it's going to the left, so we're going minus 6. Now we're in the right direction. I see it's 4 meters to the wall. Enter 4. We're in the right direction. We've got the right length. We accept. Now, for the next point, it's obviously 90 degrees from this line. However, our point pilot is still set to this reference line. So we want to rotate the point pilot. At the moment now, 90 degrees is equal to 100 GON. So we rotate point pilot, and I go 100 GON minus 6, so that's 94 GON. And I say yes. Now you can see as well we've got a right angle. Obviously we can tell that that's correct. And accept. Now the point pilot is rotated in the direction of the building that we want to be creating. I've got a line that's a meter long. And accept. And I'll go back to creating this bay window, because we've got a handy little tool in here to create that easy. So I'll just keep going along. So the next one's 4 meters. And accept. And the next one's 1.5 meters. And again, accept. I also want to mention at this point, right now you can see I've got no height on my point. But if you wanted to put in a height, or if you had a height, then you would be able to import that at any time at any point. So we'll continue. Right, now we're up to this point. We know we're going to have an arc, and even though we've only got this at 2.5 meters, we know that the left side is 4, so we're missing 1.5 meters. So obviously the arc radius is going to be 1.5 meters as well. So I'll just create another line at 1.5 meters and accept. And do the same along the other side. And now to close our building, we can connect the points. So I want to connect point 10 and point 3. There we go. So just to quickly show you now, got the building, got our reference line, we're about to construct an arc, and we'll put in a bay window later on, and to finish it off we'll put in the garage. Just quickly for context, so when would this be useful? I guess if you imagine that you're out on a building site, or the foreman is out on the building site, and all of a sudden a change comes in and he gets a paper plan sort of thrust in his face, and they tell him to make it happen. So this way he can just look at the paper plan, say, okay, yes, that's fine, he's got all the measurements, quickly sketch it up. So rather than having to do the normal conventional method, he can just do a stakeout then after the stake out the points that he's created using this sketch application. So that makes it a lot easier for him. So that would be a use case for this type of application. So we'll go to the arc and we'll construct the arc. It's asking me to select the point. So I'll select 8 and I'll select 10. Invalid arc. And now that's the case because we've got an arc radius of 1 meter, and obviously we've said that this is 1.5 meters. So I'll change my radius to 1.5. Now it's giving me selections. So what's blue is what's currently active, and the other color is what your option is that you can choose from. So I'm going to deliberately now choose this arc, just because I want to show you quickly that up the top here, you can undo. So it makes it so you don't have to delete. You can just press undo, and you're still in the application. So you just reselect your point. This time, I'm going to select the arc in the right direction, and OK. So that's the arc, and that was pretty easy. Go back into points and lines. I want to start point. I'm going to create the garage now. Our point pilot's still rotated the 6 GON, so we want to rotate it back. So instead of 94, I'm going to go back to 100. Now we're at a right angle again in relation to our reference line, which is what this is meant to be. So I'll say OK. We've got a distance of 2.5 meters. Now again, we don't want to have the line selected, so I'll deselect that and press accept. I want the line selected again though for the garage that we're constructing. So reselect the line. The garage is 3 meters long. Now I'll just show you the offset function. So our icon's telling me to select a point, line or arc to offset. I want to offset this line. I want to offset it by 2 meters. At the moment it's offsetting to the left, so we can see by the sketch that that's not offsetting to the right side. That's not a problem. There's this tool down here now, this little function, click it, it'll offset to the other side. So it's very easy to offset a line to any side. And I'll accept that. And I just want to join my points together now using the tool that I showed you before. Point 11 to point 13, and accept. And again, 12 to 14, and accept. Now we're almost done with this sketch. I'll just finish it off by showing you the bay window. So that's in pattern. Under bay window, there's only one to choose from at the moment. Got a little wizard here, so I'll just quickly move that out of the way. Got a wizard that we can run through, so it tells you step by step what you need to do in order to get the bay window onto your drawing. So select pattern, select line to dimension. So I'll start up here. That's 2 meters long. The line down here, 4 meters. And we've got both of those lines for 1.414 meters. And the little line on the side obviously corresponds to this. So that's 1 meter. So that's all dimensioned. Go back to our wizard. Apply the pattern. So it's saying select line to apply pattern. I want to select this one. So it's giving me the bay window now in the correct position. We've got 2 functions down here. This one inverts it. So the bay window happens to be facing inwards. You could use it like that. Or you've got this, it flips around your starting point. So that's also a handy tool. If you've dimensioned it wrong or you've sort of set it up the wrong way, then you could just flip it around. So then I'll accept. And now we have our drawing. So that was pretty fast now really if you think about, I think I've been talking for 10 to 15 minutes now. And we've completely digitized the plan already. And I just wanted to show you as well, I mentioned I had a DXF, so we can turn on the DXF. And this just sort of gives you then some context. So either you can check if you've actually constructed it in the right spot. So for example, we can go into point creation, and then to the toolbox, and there's a function or a tool here called tie distance. So say OK. This is a point we already have, it's on site. We click it. We want to check if our 0, 0, so our construction line 0 point is where it's meant to be. We select that. It gives you the distance, the elevation, the direction, the height, which is obviously 0 because we haven't entered any height into our point. So that's another pretty handy tool as well, just to check what you've done. And again, the DXF gives you context so you can see where you are in the bigger picture, providing obviously that you have a DXF